The objective for this lesson is to see if we can run the front left motor at 10% capacity for 1 second and then stop. So before getting started, you might want to think about what this code actually needs to look like. How could we make the motor stop once it's running at 10% capacity? Now let's get started coding. I'm going to do the 1-1 motor test, but instead of using Steambot, we are going to use Arduino Sketch, which is going to look a little bit more like coding instead of the drag and drop format of the last one. So our goal is the same. We want the front left motor to run at 10% capacity for 1 second and then stop. So let's look at a couple of things in this code. First, notice that on that very first line, that define FL is defining FL to be the front left motor. So we're going to use the letters FL whenever we want the front left motor to do anything. So analog right is going to be a function that sets the speed. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and pause this. Analog right FL, 10 means we want to set the front left motor to 10% capacity. And you'll use that same format when you want to reset the motor to any different speed as you use the first input in those parentheses. It's which motor you want to be talking about. So FL is the front left, and then a comma. And the second input into that set of parentheses is going to be your speed or the capacity you want the motor to be running at. We'll always set that up exactly the same way. We end our line with a semicolon. Now, just like we did with the Steambot, we still want to have a 1 second pause in there. So delay is the function we're going to use to make it pause for 1 second. But Arduino Sketch actually uses milliseconds. So instead of doing 1 second, you're going to notice I type in 1,000 milliseconds right here. So just keep that in mind that one program is using milliseconds and one's using seconds. Then we want to set the speed to 0, so I'm going to use the analog right function again, and in the parentheses, I use FL for my front left motor, and 0 because I want to set it back to 0. Then we want to save our function, or save our code to our Steambot or upload it. So I just pressed save, and then this little arrow right here, that is the upload button, so we'll click that upload button. Right there. We'll click that upload button and it will start uploading to our drone. And you're going to notice that this one uploads a lot faster than the Steambot coding did. So it's already done uploading. So now let's test it out and see if our drone does what we want it to do. Oh, and you can also add another delay at the end right here, like we did with the Steambot, and it will actually work better if you add that delay. So it actually gives it time to pause and turn the speed or capacity back down to 0. So I'm just going to save and re-upload it. And if you notice any problems when you try to upload it to your drone, adding another pause in between steps might help you fix your code so your drone actually does what you want it to do. So let's see if it works. So turning it on, we can see the front left motor turns on for a second, off for a second, on, off. So I know it doesn't have time to stop completely, but if we were to make that pause longer, you would actually see the propeller stop completely in between. And you're welcome to go ahead and try that out if you'd like to see it stop completely.